Guess what? They're playing Chennai in their last game. So one game to go against a team who are on top, who have not yet sealed Q1 or Q2. They are on top. So it's not that they're going to be sitting back and saying, listen, we're going to have the support staff playing the game for us. They're going to be taking it pretty seriously. So I think...
And also coming off a loss.
Coming off a loss.
So they don't want a second
They'll be mad. Yeah, they won't like it at all. I mean, the way Chennai lost last time, what Rajasthan did to them, Dhoni would be very anxious to arrest the slide now. And so my belief is that if any team can qualify with 12 points, it's Kolkata. None of the other teams have a realistic chance of qualifying with 12 points. For Rajasthan to qualify or Mumbai to qualify, they have to reach that 14 points. They can't qualify with 12. That's my belief.
Yep. But we've been talking about the team at the bottom. We've been talking about the teams in the middle. How about what's coming up next at the top of the table? Yes, have a look. This is it. We've been talking about 1 versus 2, and this is the clash for 1 versus 2. It's hugely important. They're both Qs playing against each other in Dubai, but they're both Qs looking for that Q1, knowing that they've got Bangalore now just behind them, looking over their shoulder, trying to get one of those 2 spots. Had Bangalore lost today, maybe they would have been a little more comfortable with the Q1 and Q2 scenario. Now, that victory for Bangalore makes it all the more spicy in tomorrow's game in Dubai. Shaun, I think they would have been watching that game closely. They would have said, we have to finish 1 and 2. They're going to be big guns firing on both sides.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I like about the RPL structure. There is an advantage, such an advantage of finishing 1 or 2. And you have to fight for that. So, sometimes in other tournaments, the last few games of the tournament are irrelevant really to how things transpire. But even at the top of the table, when guys are comfortably qualified, they still have to produce their best cricket. They can't just rest on their laurels. They can't just put any team out because they need to try and end up in those top 2 to give themselves the double bite at the cherry. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know the situation with Stoinis. I think that would be the real thing for Delhi. They'll probably be wanting to try and get him back and fighting fit for the knockouts. But besides that, I would think they'd very much go a similar kind of equation to what they used in the last game. Stoinis would be a big player if he can come and contribute. The batting lineup, I mean, on a different surface, they may look at things a little bit differently to how they're structured.
The one question mark would have to be stalwart or no stalwart, Joy, Steve Smith. Now you've got possible replacements in there. How long do you hang on to him?
I have to say I'm not convinced with Steve Smith. I'd even look at a Sam Billings ahead of him. I'm really not convinced with the Steve Smith. Sam Billings is in better form than he is at this point in time. It all depends on how Ponting looks at this. If Ponting looks at Steve Smith as somebody who's good in the field, somebody he needs around, somebody he wants to spend a lot of time on the field talking with Rishabh Pant, advising him, maybe it's a different job. But otherwise, on absolute just performance alone, Steve Smith is again one of those, like many teams are doing, being carried by his teammates at this point in time. He's done nothing at this point in time for them.
You're giving me ideas for another 11, but we'll hold that. The passenger 11.
The passenger 11 is a good one. Passenger 11.
But yeah, one person, again, with all due respect to the man himself, who will be in that 11 possibly, is MS Dhoni. In a very different sense, of course, he's been a wonderful leader, but he's just not needed. The way his team has played, he's not necessarily needed to come and hit those runs at the end. He's been safe behind the stumps. So in that sense, it's not that he hasn't contributed, but the ethos of the passenger 11 is they've not been having to make match-winning performances on their own. Have a look at this, Joy. Any problems you see in terms of what they need to adjust? Sam Curran, DJ Bravo, that's the one for you?
That's definite. That's absolutely definite. At this point in time, Curran definitely, maybe the ball's not doing that little bit that he needs to have done. And therefore, Sam Curran is just, DJ Bravo has to walk into that 11. There's no doubt in my head at all about it. The second one that I'm thinking of, and I don't know whether they'll do it or not, but I still think with all the opportunities he got, I think Suresh Raina is just not looking the part. Now, whether they do that, and again, like Shane Watson, carry him up to the finals and hope he does something, but the way he's batting, the way he's hitting, he just looks out of it. And they have some decent Indian batsmen out there who can bat. So Jagdish is there. I think they
Robin
can have
Uthappa.
people. Robin Uthappa is there. Yeah. So they have players there who are in comparatively better nick at this point in time. Forget about better nick. Have probably played a little bit more cricket in the recent past than Suresh Raina has played. So that's the only one I'd look at. But knowing the way Dhoni looks at it, and Suresh Raina has been the champion of the first 5-6 years of the IPL, I don't know whether he'll ever bench him.
Yeah, another scenario we can throw up is maybe a Lungi Ngidi. I think they rested Bravo because of the quick succession of games, or Chennai have had a flurry of fixtures as of late. So that might be an option, just to give Hazelwood a game off and just have a look at Lungi Ngidi. I think it's at these times that you just want to make sure that you've got your bases covered, that if there is an injury to maybe one or two or three of the departments, you've got that replacement with just a little bit of cricket. So even a 4-over spell under the belt is important if you have to now go into a final and replace someone on the day.